The next concept, discovery of nucleus. Nucleus. Yes. So Rutherford discovered the nucleus. Rutherford. So Lord Rutherford. Rutherford discovered nucleus. So Rutherford discovered the nucleus. How we discovered? Let's see that. So we will pass alpha particle, stream of alpha particles. Stream of alpha particles on a thin gold foil. On a thin gold foil. Okay. That time we will observe some rays will pass straight and few rays are, that alpha particle rays are deflected and few are reflected back, bounce back. So let's see that. So he will pass the stream of alpha particles on a thin gold foil. Why he took only that gold? Because gold is a malleable metal. Gold is a malleable metal. Because of that reason, it took the gold. Okay. So this is the alpha particle. Alpha particle. From the alpha particle. Alpha particle. What is the alpha particle? Alpha particle is a doubly charged helium atom. Doubly charged helium ion. Doubly charged alpha particle is a doubly charged helium ion. Contains 2 protons and 2 electrons. It is formed by removing 2 electrons. It is formed by removing 2 electrons from the helium atom. So alpha particle is a doubly charged helium ion. It means He2+. Doubly charged helium ion contains 2 protons and 2 electrons, and it is formed. It is formed by removing 2 electrons from the helium atom. Yesterday in the last class I told that difference between the atom and the ion. This is the screen. This is a screen. Inside the screen, thin gold foil is there. Thin gold foil. Why took the gold? Because gold is a malleable metal. Gold is a malleable metal. Okay. So we can make that in a thin layer. So you want thin layer only. So from the gold, you can make the thin layer. So because its property that is malleable in nature. So because of that reason, we took the gold. Okay. For 1 marks, when asked for the exam, why it took. While discovering the nucleus, why it took gold foil only? That time you should write it. Now this is the thin gold foil, and this is the screen. Now you have to observe now that rays, how it is producing. As I told, now this is the alpha particles. What you will do? So you will pass. You will stream alpha particles are passed on thin gold foil. That time what will happen there? As I told, few rays are move straight. So this is moving straight, isn't it? So few rays are moving straight on passing the alpha particles rays on thin gold foil, and few are after falling on the thin gold foil they are deflected. Okay. So this is the deflection deflected ray. So this is also deflected ray. Deflected ray. And few rays are completely bounced back. So most of the rays are, they will pass straight. They will pass the thin gold foil. And few rays are deflected. And few are completely bounced back. They are completely bounced back. So now this is a bounce back. They are completely bounce back. This is a bounce back. So this is a deflected ray, and these are straight rays. These are straight rays. So he will pass the stream of alpha particles on a thin gold foil. That time he will absorb few rays, and most of the rays, not few rays, most of the rays are passed straight. Most of the alpha particle passes straight through the foil. So most of the alpha particles pass straight to the foil, and some alpha particles were slightly deflected, and some alpha particles, they are slightly deflected, and few alpha particle rays are completely bounced back. Now I will write one more diagram. Look at that. So inside the atom, you already know that one. So positive charge are present, and what you will do? So for the atom, so you will pass the rays. Yes. So you consider this one as a positively charged nucleus. So positively charged nucleus. So this is sphere shape is there, that is a positively charged nucleus. So because inside protons are there, that is considered as a positively charged nucleus. Positively charged nucleus. So from you can see here, few rays are, I think most of the rays are, they are passing the foil, gold foil, and few rays are bounce back, and few rays are deflected. So you will observe this one. So from this you can conclude that one. So in the atom, nucleus is present. Nucleus is present in the center of the atom. So this nucleus is present. From this experiment you conclude that one. So nucleus is present. So you give some postulates. So that postulates they are considered as a Rutherford's atomic model. Rutherford's atomic model. According to this model, Rutherford atomic model. Rutherford atomic model. So after doing this experiment, it gives some postulates regarding this model, Rutherford atomic model. According to the first postulate, atom contains a large empty space. Look at the inside. That atom contains a large empty space. So because of that reason, because of the large empty space in the atom, the rays are passing straight. The rays are passing that gold foil. So the first postulate, what is telling that the atom contains a large empty space. Because of this reason, most of the alpha particle rays are passed through that gold foil without deviating from their path. Most of the alpha particle rays passing through they are passing the gold foil. So the first postulate, the atom contains a large empty space. Okay, because so by looking at the diagram we can tell that most of the alpha particle rays are passed through the gold foil. So this is the first postulate according to the Rutherford's atomic model. And the second one, there is a positively charged mass at the center of the atom. So we consider this one we consider that one as a sphere. Look at the sphere there. There is a positively charged mass at the center of the atom. So known as nucleus. We call it as a nucleus. There is a positively charged mass at the center of the atom. So there is a, according to the Rutherford atomic model, second point, there is a positively charged mass at the center of the atom, that is known as nucleus. That is known as nucleus. Okay. So you consider that as a nucleus. Positively charged mass at the center of the nucleus, that is called center of the atom, that is called as the nucleus. Clear? So this is the second one. And third one, the size of the nucleus is very small. Size of the nucleus is very small compared to the size of the atom. Size of an atom. So size of the nucleus, so atom is a big one compared to the nucleus. So inside the atom nucleus is present, then how it is size will be more than the atom? So that is not possible. Okay. So size of the nucleus of an atom, size of the nucleus is very small compared to the size of the nucleus of an atom. Okay. So this is proved by the fact that the most of the alpha particle pass through this straight line. So you prove how it is proved there. So that is same reason. So most of the alpha particle rays are passing through that gold foil. So third postulate, that is size of the nucleus is small compared to the size of an atom. Clear? So that is the third property, third postulate. And the next one, fourth one, electrons revolve around the nucleus at large distance from each other and from the nucleus. So electrons, now coming to the point of electrons. So the protons are present inside the nucleus. The electrons will be, we already discovered electron, no? We already discovered electron. So in the atom, protons and electrons are present, we already know that one. Is it? So then what about the electrons? The electrons are revolve around the nucleus. So this is the nucleus. Okay. So inside positive charge is present. And look at it. So this is nucleus, protons. Okay. Now here electrons are, this is the electron. So electrons are revolve around the nucleus. The electrons revolve around the nucleus at a large distance from each other. From one electron to the another electron, large distance will be there according to Rutherford's atomic model. Okay, according to the Rutherford atomic model, electrons are revolve around the nucleus at a large distance from each other, and from the nucleus. So look at the distance. So here is the nucleus, and from here to here, distance is more. Okay. So electrons are revolve around the nucleus at a large distance from each other as well as from the nucleus. So this is the fourth postulate according to the Rutherford atomic model. And the fifth one, an atom as a whole is electrically neutral. We already learned that one. An atom as a whole is electrically neutral because, what is the reason?
The number of electrons is equal to the number of protons.
Yes. So an atom as a whole is electrically neutral because total positive charge, that is equal to the total negative charge. Total number of protons, that is equal to the total number of electrons. So an atom as a whole is electrically neutral. So that is the fifth postulate. Okay. And the last one, the sixth one, electrons revolve around the nucleus in closed circular paths. So written here, no. So electron, as we told in fourth postulate, the electrons are revolve around the nucleus in a closed circular paths. In a closed circular paths. The circular paths is called as orbits. So electrons are revolve around the nucleus in a closed circular paths is called as orbits. The force of attraction between the negatively charged electron and the positively charged nucleus is counterbalanced by the force of electron, the force of attraction between the negatively charged electrons and the positively charged nucleus is balanced by the centrifugal force. It's balanced by the centrifugal force acquired by the revolving electrons. So revolving electron, they have a centrifugal force. So because of that reason, here the nucleus is present in the center. So according to that one, the electrons are revolve around the nucleus. That is balanced by the centrifugal force possessed by the electrons. The sixth one, again I will repeat that one. Electrons revolve around the nucleus. Electrons revolve around the nucleus in a circular path. That circular path is called as orbits. Okay, so this is the circular path. Circular, no. So circle shape. Circular shape. It is called as orbits. Circular shapes. It is called as orbits. Orbits is called as orbits. And electrons, we know that one, they have a negatively charged, the negatively charged electrons and positively charged nucleus. In the nucleus, positive charge is present. So positively charged nucleus is counter or balanced by the centrifugal force acquired by the revolving electrons. So electrons are revolving around the nucleus now. So their attraction between the positive and negative. So that is balanced by the centrifugal force possessed by the electron. Electron possesses centrifugal force because that is rotating around the nucleus now. So because of that reason. So the attraction is balanced by the electrons revolving around the nucleus, which is possess the centrifugal force. So these are some of the postulates regarding about the Rutherford's atomic model. Okay, the first one, atoms contains a large empty space. This is why so atoms contain a large empty space because most of the alpha particles are passed through the gold foil. And second one, there is a positively charged mass in the center of the atom, that is called nucleus. There is a positively charged mass of the atom in the center, that is called nucleus. And the third one, size of the atom is more compared to the size of the nucleus. And the fourth one, electrons revolve around the nucleus at a particular distance from each other as well as from the nucleus. And the fifth one, an atom as a whole is electrically neutral. That means total number of protons, that is equal to the total number of electrons. And the last one, electrons revolve around the nucleus in a circular path, that is orbits. We call it as the orbits. Electrons are revolving around the circular path, circle shape. This is circular paths. Okay, so that is the attraction between the negatively charged electrons and a positively charged nucleus is balanced by the centrifugal force possessed by the electron. Electrons are revolving around the nucleus now, that is balanced by the centrifugal force of the electron, because electron possesses the centrifugal force. Okay, so these are and one more thing, Rutherford compared this atomic model to the solar system. Is it? Solar system. So electrons are revolving around the nucleus in case of solar system. So planets are revolving around so because of this reason, so you compare that this atomic model, Rutherford's atomic model, to the solar system. So sun is the center and planets are revolving around the sun. Is it? So here also nucleus, that is present in the center of the atom, and electrons are revolving around the nucleus. But this Rutherford atomic model is not up to the mark. It means they are, so we can't can tell it is not completely accepted. We can't accept this Rutherford's atomic model. Why? What is the reason? According to the physics, according to the classical laws of mechanics and electrodynamics. So that laws will come to the physics. According to the classical laws of mechanics and electrodynamics, the movement of charged particle, motion of the charged particle will possess some amount of energy. Sorry, they will radiate energy. So the movement of the charged particle will radiate energy. Okay. Now which is revolving around the nucleus here? Electrons. According to this law, the classical laws of mechanics and electrodynamics, the electrons should radiate energy. So after radiating energy, that should be come to closer to the nucleus. After radiating energy. So after completely energy, if it is radiated, if it is produced, that energy that should be come to the near to the nucleus. But that will not happen. So because of this reason, so Rutherford is failed to explain the stability of an atom. He failed to explain the stability of an atom. So why this law is discarded? Not discarded means not up to the mark. He not explained the stability of the atom. So why? Because he compared that model to the solar system. So, but according to the physics, it means classical law of mechanics and electrodynamics, the electrically charged particle is in motion, it inevitably radiates energy. The electrically charged particle which is in motion, it will radiate the energy. After continuously radiating energy, that should be come to the closer to the nucleus. After completely radiating its energy, it should be come to the nucleus. So if that electron comes to the nucleus, it will affect the structure of the atom, is it? And it will, so if it comes to the nucleus, a collision will take place. That will spoil the structure of the atom. Okay. So collapse of an atom. So there is if the electron comes closer to the nucleus after emitting ray, according to the laws of classical mechanics and electrodynamics, the charged particle, the movement which is in motion, it will produce the radiate energy. Now electron that is revolving, that should radiate energy. After radiating the energy, that should come closer to the nucleus. So if it is come closer to the nucleus, there is a collision between the nucleus and the electron. It will affect the structure of the atom. So there is a collapse of the structure of the atom. So because of these reasons, so this is one of the drawback of the Rutherford's atomic model. So we will not explain the stability of an atom. Okay, so these are the postulates as well as the drawbacks of Rutherford atomic model. Clear? So to explain so Rutherford failed to explain the stability of an atom. To explain the stability of an atom, one more scientist, that is Bohr. So one more scientist, Bohr, Niels Bohr. Niels Bohr is a Danish physicist, Niels Bohr. Okay, he explained the stability of an atom. So Niels Bohr. So that is the model is the Bohr's atomic model. So that is considered the Bohr's atomic model. According to the Bohr's atomic model, according to the Bohr's atomic model, electrons revolving around the nucleus are confined to a certain fixed orbits called shells. So electrons, we already know that one. So electrons are revolving around the nucleus. They are confined by the certain fixed orbits. They are called shells or energy levels. So they are called. So electrons are revolving around the nucleus, are confined by the fixed orbits. Fixed orbits. The electrons should be revolve around the nucleus in a fixed orbits. Fixed orbits. That orbits he called as the shells. That orbit he called as the shells or energy levels. He called as the energy levels. Each of which is associated with the fixed amount of energy, and each orbit should be fixed with the fixed amount of energy. Each orbit have a fixed amount of energy. The first, according to the both atomic model, the first point, we already know that when electrons are revolving around the nucleus, that should be a confined to a fixed. They should be moving a fixed amount of fixed orbits. The electrons should be moved in a fixed orbits. Fixed orbits. He called it as a shells. So the fixed orbits, electrons should be revolve around the nucleus in a confined fixed orbits. Fixed orbits he called as a shells or energy levels. And that each shell should be have a fixed amount of energy. And each shell should have a fixed amount of energy. Now look at that, I will write. So in the center, we already know that one. Nucleus. So electrons are revolving around the nucleus. So this is the nucleus. Okay, nucleus. So electrons are revolving around the nucleus, confined to a fixed orbits. So this is a fixed orbit from the nucleus. Fixed orbits. So many cells are there. So we will tell them one by one. Okay. So this is the nucleus. And as I told, electrons are revolving around the nucleus, confined to a fixed orbits. These are called fixed orbits. They are called shells. These are called shells. They are called shells. So the first shell that is called K shell. And the second one that is called L shell. After K, L, M shell. And that one next N shell. So it will go on like this, depending upon the atomic number. Okay, so just recall the first postulates of the Bose-atomic model. Electrons are revolving around the nucleus at a confined fixed orbits. They are called shells. So these are called shells. Here electrons should be present. And each shell should have a fixed amount of energy. Okay, so this is the first point. Second one, while it is revolving around the nucleus in an orbit, electron neither lose or gain energy. So we already know that when electrons are revolving around the nucleus, while revolving around the nucleus, it may lose energy or gain energy. So both may happen. So it may gain energy or it may lose energy because of the revolving around the nucleus. Okay, it may gain energy or it may lose energy. And the last point, an electron revolving in a particular orbit. On gaining a certain amount of energy. So as I told, so while revolving around the nucleus, it may gain energy or it may lose energy. So after gaining energy, it may jump to the another shell. After losing energy, it may jump to the another shell. So both also is possible. So if they gain energy or lose energy, it will jump to the shells, another shells. Okay, after gaining or losing energy, it may, so electrons are jump to the other shells. So once again repeat that one. An electron revolving in a particular orbit, on gaining a certain amount of energy, jumps to the next orbit and vice versa. Since each orbit is associated with a fixed amount of energy, both called as an energy level. As I told, the orbits, they are called shells or energy levels. The third point is telling that one. So we know that electrons are revolving around the nucleus, and while revolving they may gain energy or may lose energy. Okay, so if they are gaining energy, so that way electrons may jump to the other shells, jump to the next shell. Okay, so next shell. Clear? Any doubt is there? So these are the so 3 points told by the according to the Bohr's atomic model. And one more tell, so one more point. So which is the closest shell to the nucleus? Which is the closest shell to the nucleus?
K shell.
Yes, K shell. And keep in mind that, so K shell that is closer to the nucleus, and it has a least amount of energy. Which is closer to the nucleus, they have a least amount of energy. Okay, the orbits closer to the nucleus in the K shell, it has the least amount of energy. So K shell has least amount of energy. After the K shell, which shell will come?
L shell.
L. After the K shell, L will come. Okay, so it has more energy than the K shell. So clear? Which is closer to the nucleus, they have a least amount of energy. Which is far away from the nucleus, have a large amount of energy. They possess large amount of energy. Clear? So and one more thing. So what is the, so how many electrons you can put in the K shell? So one formula is that 2n square. So formula, you can look at there, 2n square. This is the formula. Okay. So K value. So if you put n value is equal to 1. N value 1. Don't start with the 0. Start with the 1. Okay. So if you put n value 1, that time it will become 1 square 1 only. So 2 into 1 2. So in the K shell we can put 2 electrons. So that is the maximum. So in the K shell we can put 2 electrons. Next, what about the L shell? How many electrons we can put there? So we have to increase the n value to find the value to how many electrons you can put in the L shell. How to find that one? So put n is equal to 2. N is equal to 2. So 2n square. 2n square now. 2n square. So in n place 2 is to put there. 2 square 4. So 4 to the 8. So in L shell we can put 8 electrons. So L shell has the capacity to hold 8 electrons in it. To find the M shell, n is equal to 3. So 3 square 9. 9 to the 18. So in the M shell you can put 18 electrons. Okay, you can put 18 electrons. Then capacity of the M shell is 18 electrons. Keep it in mind that. So K shell 2 electrons, L shell 8 electrons, and next M shell 18 electrons, and the last one N shell. How many electrons you can put there?
32.
Yes, 32. N is equal to 4. 4 square 16. 16 into 2, 32. Okay. So that N shell has the capacity, it can hold 32 electrons in it. 32 electrons in it. Okay. Clear? So that much electrons only you should put there. If you put more, so only capacity of the K shell is 2 electron. If you put 3, that is wrong. Clear? Any doubt is there? The K shell, that is called first energy level. Okay. L shell, that is called second energy level. And M shell, third energy level. And N shell, the fourth energy level. Clear? And the last topic is the discovery of neutrons. Discovery of neutrons. Okay. So as I told in the beginning, so who discovered the neutron?
James Chadwick.
Yes, James Chadwick. So how he discovered the neutron? So he took helium atom. So till we know, only in an atom electrons and protons are present. Is it? In an atom and nucleus. Electrons, protons, and the center nucleus is there. Protons, electrons are present. Okay. Now what he will do? So James Chadwick, So he will take the helium atom. He will take the helium atom, which contains 2 protons. So helium atomic number is 2. So it contains 2 protons. 2 protons. But he found that one atomic mass. So it mass he got 4. 4 AMU. Atomic mass. So only 2 protons are present in the helium atom. But he found that one. He got the mass 4 AMU. 4 AMU. 4 atomic mass unit. So that means mass of the helium atom, atomic weight or atomic mass we call it as, okay, atomic mass or atomic weight of the helium atom, he found that he got 4 AMU. So how it is possible? He thinking that time, okay, so he write one reaction. Beryllium reacts with the helium. So what is the beryllium? So atomic number, beryllium atomic number 9, and beryllium reacts with the helium 2 4, so it will give carbon 6 12 plus neutron. He got neutron. So he got the neutron. So he took the helium atom. So in that one we already know that one helium atom contains 2 protons. But after finding the mass of that helium atom, he got 4 AMU, and he found that one. So one more particle is present in the atom. One more particle is present in the another particle that is present in the atom, that is called neutron. Look at that. So after doing the reaction, beryllium reacts with the helium, he got carbon as well as the neutron. So that is a chargeless particle. Neutron is a chargeless particle. So like this he found the neutron. So he took the helium atom, it contains only 2 protons. But after finding the atomic mass of the helium atom, he got 4 AMU. So how we have got 4 AMU? So that time he thought that one. So one more particle that is present in the nucleus of an atom. That is neutron. So he confirmed that one by writing one reaction. So beryllium reacts with the helium, he got carbon as well as the neutron. One more extra, that is neutron. 1932, Chadwick discovered these particles by bombarding light nuclei like beryllium, by bombarding beryllium with the alpha particle. So that helium that is considered as a alpha particle. Okay. So the particle we call it as a neutrons. Only 2 properties are regarding about the neutrons. These particles was not found to be deflected by any of the magnetic field or electric field. So it means it indicates that one does not possess a charge. And its mass is equal to the 1.676 into 10 to the power of minus 24. Mass of the neutron is 1.676 into 10 to the power of minus 24. So neutron, that is a chargeless. Neutral it is. Neutral. Okay, and its mass is equal to the 1.676 into 10 to the power of minus 24 grams. Minus 24 gram. In the atom, now we can conclude that one. So it possesses protons, neutrons and electrons.